Good evening, all. I welcome you all. My name is Sury Soni. I am current trustee of Federation of Indian Association Victoria and AICCT. I welcome you to this webinar series called Vichar. Vichar series has been initiated by FIAV. It's for the community, from the community. So we are coming together as a community to share our knowledge, wisdom, and supporting each other. Today we have very young speaker, Arjun Agrawal. Welcome, Arjun, for taking this challenge and sharing your experiences in digital content creation. You really wanted to make good use of your pandemic time, learn something about Indian culture, but at the same time, keep add new skills to yourself. So you have taken up this challenge from your dad and parents, and you have made a very interesting ebook during the pandemic, and we are going to hear all your experiences from that. So, with that note, thank you, Rahulji, for encouraging your son and supporting him. And you'll be towards the end of this webinar, you'll share technical details about what are the processes around publishing it to Amazon or any other digital platform for that matter. So, without further delay, I welcome you all again, and over to you, Arjun.
Thanks a lot. Let's start with sharing the screen.
Hello, everybody. I'm going to be talking about how I survived COVID with the power of Hanuman. We all know about superheroes. There's Spider-Man, there's Superman, there's Batman. But who is my hero? My hero is Hanuman. It's Hanuman Jayanti this Saturday, so happy Hanuman Jayanti, everybody. I'm Arjun Agrawal. I'm a year 6 student. I love science, Harry Potter, Pokemon, and reading. I'm a big tennis fan. It's the school holidays, so I've been meeting my friends and I've been doing a lot of Lego, and I've been trying to break my Rubik's Cube record. So, fittingly enough with the date, I'm going to be talking about Hanuman and the book that me and my dad made called Hanuman Chalisa for Kids. And this is my story of how I survived the pandemic of 2020. In 2020, there were outbreaks of COVID all across the world. And unfortunately for us kids, in Victoria, we got the most longest and most harsh lockdown in the whole world. There were lots of challenges. We couldn't go outside much. We couldn't meet our friends a lot. And you couldn't even talk to them over the phone. The adults get that liberty. There were only online classes and maybe a 15-minute walk outside. However, the good part of the pandemic is I got to spend a lot of time with my sister and my parents, and my mom would cook very yummy food. And I would build a lot of Legos with my dad, and we'd solve a lot of puzzles. But my favorite thing was when my dad used to read me stories, like Dashavatara. He read me the stories of the Dashavatara all the way from Matsya to Kalki. Let me see if I can remember them. Matsya, Kurma, Varha, Narsimha, Vaman, Parshuram, Ram, Balram, Krishna, and Kalki. So, my dad told me a lot of stories, but by far my favorite story was the Ramayana. My dad decided it was time to teach me the Hanuman Chalisa. He said it was to maintain cultural roots. And When he told me that the first time, I thought, what does that mean? So my dad would make me write all 40 lines of the Hanuman Chalisa plus the dohas. But it was pretty boring. My dad tried to find a book that was fun and simple, but he couldn't. So my dad decided to teach me himself. He would write one line on the whiteboard every day, and he would translate every single word and the line as a whole. But my favorite bit was when he told the stories. He would tell me stories about each line, and it was a big motivation. After the online classes and maybe a 15-minute walk, I always looked forward to the end of the day when my dad would teach me the Hanuman Chalisa. When I'd finished learning it, my dad thought it would be nice for the whole world to know and for us to be able to spread this gift to other kids. So he decided to turn it into a book. I remembered how I love stories, and I thought other kids would probably love them too. So I told my dad to add stories. And I asked a lot of questions, and I mean a lot. And I always kept my dad on his toes. I'm pretty sure whenever I entered the room in the afternoon or evening, my dad would just suddenly go on alert mode, and he would have to be ready for any questions I threw at him. So after lots of work, we launched the Hanuman Chalisa for Kids book on the Bhumi Pujan of the Ram Mandir. My favorite lines from the Hanuman Chalisa is lines 14 and 15. Sankadik Brahmadi Munisa Narad Sarad Sait Ahisa Yam Kuber Dikpal Jahate Kabhi Kobit Kai Sake Kahate. It means saints and sages like Sanak, gods including Brahma, Narad, Sharad, who is Saraswati, Adishesh, Yam, Kuber, Dikpal, and all poets and scholars fail to sing your glory. In those lines, Tulsidas ji is taking people from all three lokas. The gods from heaven, scholars and poets from earth, and Adishesh, the serpent king, from the Patalo. So in a way, he is saying, "Oh Hanuman, your glories are so great that even the whole three worlds united cannot sing them properly." And that's why it's my favorite. It really gives a scope of how amazing Hanuman is. But after all that, after being world renowned, Hanumanji is still one of the most humble gods that there ever was. But he was also very loyal and loving to Ram. And my favorite story, Hanumanji covered in Sindoor, proves that. So one day, while in exile, Sita Ma put Sindoor on her forehead. Boop. Hanumanji was witnessing that, and he asked, Sita Ma, why are you doing this? But Mata Sita didn't know the answer to why traditionally they put sindoor on. So she said, I put it on to show my love to Lord Ram and to show my willingness for him to lead a long life. And Hanumanji got really excited when he heard that. He quickly ran off and he covered his whole body in sindoor. Sita Ma was very amused and very confused. She asked, Hanuman, Lord of Vanar, why have you done this? And Hanuman said, if a simple dot can show how much you love Ram and how much you want him to live a long life, imagine how much a full body in Sindoor could represent. So this is why on many sculptures, we have depicted Hanuman in red or orange, even though his natural complexion is gold, hence Kanchanavaran. Last December, I was really fortunate. I went to Kashi and I got to visit the Sankat Mochan Mandir. It is said that Tulsidas had created the statue there, and no surprises, it is of Hanuman covered in sindoor. I was very fortunate to pray to Hanumanji there and sing the Hanuman Chalisa there. This book is not meant for profit to us. It's meant to share the joys and the stories of Hanuman. We have donated books to many of our friends, and we've given more in hope that they will donate it to their friends. And we have also sold books at events at a discounted price so people can so we can share the knowledge and people can understand it. And also, whatever little proceeds we got, we donated it to the Ram Mandir collection drive to help the Ram Mandir be reconstructed. So I'm gonna be telling you some fun facts. But first, I want to make sure that everyone loves Hanumanji as much as I do. So I'm gonna be asking a question, and I want you to post your answers into the chat. Okay? So the question is, how many times did Hanumanji fly, and why did he fly? Type your answers into the chat, please.
Might be tricky, but let's see who replies back. And if you don't mind otherwise, people can unmute and answer it for you. Does somebody want to answer by unmuting yourself? Do you know this fact? So you're asking about forever? When forever, how many times he flew?
Yeah, how many times and why?
Okay. Anyone can answer from the audience?
It's okay.
Yep, if you can help answer. Yeah.
So Hanumanji has flown 3 times. Once when he thought the sun was a fruit and he went to eat it. 2, when he crossed Lanka to find Mata Sita. And 3, to get the Sanjeevani booty to save Lakshman. Now, here are my facts. Did you know Hanuman has created his own Ramayana? It's true. After Ram had beaten Ravan, Hanumanji went to live in the mountains of Himalaya. He wrote the story of his version of the Ramayana on the mountain rocks with his own nails. At the time, Rishi Valmiki was also writing his version of the Ramayana. When he came to know about Hanumanji writing his version, he asked Hanumanji to show him. Hanumanji brought Valmiki to where he read the Ramayana, and Valmiki ji read it and said, "Your Ramayana is so great that nothing else in the world could compare or even come close to matching it." But Hanumanji, being the wonderful friend and the humble person he is, he immediately drowned his version to not diminish any bit of Valmiki ji's glory. Valmiki ji was very happy and blessed Hanuman. He also said, "I will reincarnate on this earth and I will spend my life writing and singing the glories of you and Lord Ram." Therefore, it is widely believed that Tulsidas ji is a reincarnation of Valmiki ji, and he spent his time mostly on the banks of Ganga in Kashi, writing stories about Hanumanji and Sri Ram. His version of the Ramayana, the Ramcharitmanas, was written in Awadhi, a version of Hindi spoken around Ayodhya, and the Ramcharitmanas is still the most popular version of the Ramayana today. Also, Hanumanji has actually also met Bhim from the Mahabharata. Once during the Mahabharata, Draupadi asked Bhim to get a special flower. Bhim set off to get it, but in the path was an old monkey, and his tail blocked the road. Bhim, in a very arrogant voice, said, "Move, will you?" But the monkey said, "Oh, I'm so tired. Oh, you, Bhim, you have such incredible strength. Can't you move my tail for me?" Bhim tried to lift it, but his fingers were crushed under the weight of the tail. He realized that this was no ordinary being, and he begged for forgiveness. The old monkey showed him his real form, and of course it was Hanumanji. Hanumanji forgave Bhim, and as Bhim was Hanumanji's brother, because they are both born to Vayu, Hanumanji gave Bhim additional strength. And my last fact is, did you know that Arjuna's flag on his chariot actually had Hanuman on it?
Didn't do that.
Everybody, thank you for listening, and I hope you can pass on this knowledge to someone else.
Good on you, Arjun. So kind of you to share your journey. Do you mind showing front and back page or few pages of your published book, printed book? Well done. Come bring it closer to the camera. Wow. Wow.
So it has in Hindi and explains each word and the whole line.
You got English story as well in the bottom.
Yeah, there's a story in English about each line.
And can you show the back cover? Well done. And is it available for sale, physical copies and digital copies?
You can buy it on Amazon or you can ask us.
Nice. Please share the link in the WhatsApp group or share it to me. I'll share it to the group. Can we ask few questions to you, Arjun?
Yeah, sure.
I'll ask few questions. How old were you when you wrote this book?
6.
Oh my God. That I can't believe that you were 6 and wrote the book. And what do you mean by cultural roots back then? What did you understood of it, and what do you understand of cultural roots now?
Back then, I understood nothing of what maintaining cultural roots meant. But now I understand it means that, like, not forgetting where you come from and your culture, basically.
Yep. Can I request audience to unmute and ask any questions to Arjun directly as well? I put a few more questions in with me, but anybody from the audience want to ask question to Arjun before Rahul ji jumps into giving more technical details of content, the digital book publishing and all? One trait you shared, Arjun, which is very, very important, you shared already. I'm just repeating your own words, and which is a big learning for all of us, all grown-ups as well, which is a very common ability in kids. But as we grow, we forget about that skill. Can you guess what I'm talking about?
Humbleness?
No, you ask lots of questions. You ask lots of questions to it.
Curiosity.
No, asking questions is really, really important for learning. If you keep alive that habit of asking lots of questions, even when you grow up in your profession, in your university or anywhere, you will learn a lot. People who don't ask questions, they don't learn anything. So that's the most important thing. You told another important thing at the same time, that no matter how many questions you ask, your dad was always ready with the answers for you. So the important lesson here for all the parents, that we need to know our own game before we ask our kids to learn our cultural roots. Many parents nowadays push their kids to learn our cultural root without them themselves knowing about our cultural roots. So good on you, Rahulji, for knowing your facts before you teach Arjun and encourage him to learn something.
Yeah, I had to do a lot of homework before describing any specific line to him. But you made a very good point, Suryaji. And I think this point is even more relevant with the advancements of AI, So a lot of experts are now telling that we all will have to look into how schooling work and whether any of the skills that the kids are learning will be relevant in future. Most of the answers would already be there. I think the biggest skill that anybody can inculcate is now asking the right questions.
That's a theme of last few webinars already, that asking the right question is key to human survival, and it's a growth, personal growth as well. So very interesting chain of webinars going around this same concept and topic. And I didn't knew about that Sindoor story before this webinar. So thank you for giving us all the interesting facts, Arjun. And last question before I encourage all the audience again to ask few questions to Arjun directly before we switch to Rahul ji. I'll ask last question. Why did you choose, Arjun, to sell your book for a discounted price? You did a hard work. Why do we have to choose to sell it for discounted price, and why on earth you choose to donate all the earning? What is that sentiment? Where did that come from?
Because, as I said before, the book is not meant to create money. It's meant to create and share knowledge.
But what happens? Why do you want to spread the knowledge or share the knowledge? Why do you not keep it to yourself and make money out of it?
To make this place a better world.
I hope he carries the same spirit when he grows up as well.
I'm asking him to say it from his own mouth so that he should follow and remember his words, what he said. So good on you, Arjun. And yeah, these are good attributes we know and understand when we're a child, but we soon forget them, or we pretend to forget them when we grow. So never forget these good skills and traits you build in very early age. Well done. Any question from the audience? Well, good.
How do you feel after you've published a book?
Sorry?
What's your name? Can you turn on your video, please? Introduce yourself and then ask question again.
Can I not turn my video on if it's fine?
That's fine, but if you introduce yourself, yeah.
I'm Shania. My question was, how do you feel after you've published this book?
I felt satisfied, but yeah, I felt really satisfied that we actually were successful in actually doing something, and I felt hopeful that other people would buy it, so the knowledge would spread.
But did you understood the meaning of satisfied when you're 6?
I was just happy that it got published. Like
Yeah,
we did
yeah.
something. We did
That-
something.
We did
That's all I
something.
need.
Yeah, we could not have done anything, but you did something. That's a key. Thank you, Shania, for asking question. Anybody else? Any questions before we switch to Rahul? Yep, all good. Thank you so much, Arjun. So proud of you, and you are big encouragement to rest of us. And keep it up, and we'll see you more often into this platform. Bring us new talent, new skill in coming months or weeks, whenever you're ready. Thank you. Over to you, Rahulji.
Thank you so much. Let me share my screen and then we can get started. I hope you can see the screen now.
Yep, it's visible. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Great. So thank you. It's very difficult to improve on what Arjun has already done, but I'll try my best. So welcome everyone. So today's topic that I'm going to speak about is self-publishing made simple. So I'm going to share how you can turn your story into a published book using print-on-demand platforms. So imagine you've been working on a book, so holding your book in your hands or seeing it on someone's Kindle within days. Does it sound interesting? I'm sure it does, right? So in the next 10 minutes, we will cover why self-publishing is really amazing, how this works, and the steps to get your book out there, including writing, formatting, publishing, and marketing. So let's dive in. Before that, a very, very short introduction about myself. So my name is Rahul Agrawal. I'm an IT consultant. So I'm the proud father of Arjun, who is 11, and Navya, becomes 5. So what is self-publishing and why self-publish? So let's break it down a bit. So traditionally, we have known publishers to be this really big publishing houses, like, for example, Bloomberg, Penguin, HarperCollins, and so on. Now, I'm not sure about you, but unless you are really established author, you will struggle to even find appointment with these publishing houses. Besides, there are so many stories that you may have heard where these publishing houses have rejected the idea of a book and also said that it does not comply with their standards. What a shame in there. And one of India's most famous fiction writer, Amish Tripathi, who's famously known for writing Shiva trilogy, was also rejected by these big publishing houses. And that's where he decided to self publish his book. And this is what makes self publishing really interesting. First of all, you get full creative control. So even if you want a very quirky cover or an experimental plot, it is your call. There are no gatekeepers to stop you from it. Second, royalties are also really huge compared to the traditional publishing. So it can go up to almost 70% with platforms like KDP, which is Kindle Direct Publishing. I'm going to talk about it, compared to maybe 10% or more with traditional publishers. And here's the kicker: speed. Self publishing can be done within days, not years, like with the traditional publishers. And you'll be amazed, last year alone, self published authors sold almost over 300 million books. And that's a massive audience which is waiting for your story as well. So, if one of you are thinking about publishing their own book already now, great. Let's see how to make this happen. But before that, let's talk about a game changer in self publishing, which is called print on demand or POD. So, with POD, your book is printed only when someone orders it. That means there are no inventory which is kept in store. There is no upfront cost of printing thousands of copies, and there is no stress about any unsold books as well. Fast rocket. Your book is printed on demand and you're ready to sell globally, all sitting from your home itself. And platforms like Amazon's KDP, Ingram, Spark, or others offer POD, making it perfect for any self publisher. So, publish fast with no storage cost. Now, let's dive into the first steps of the process. Before that, an interesting fact: over 50% of self published books are sold using print on demand.
So who do the printing?
So these publishers or these platforms have their own printing, digital printing of setup, where when you make an order, a copy is one copy is specifically printed, and then they take care of dispatching it as well. And that's where sometimes the cost of an individual book is relatively higher than what a traditional publisher would offer you for.
Yep, makes sense. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so these are some of the top print on demand platforms, starting with the most popular one, which is Amazon's KDP or Kindle Direct Publishing. So their strength is they're really easy to use, and I'm going to show you some of it as well later. And the best part is with KDP, you've got access to Amazon global market. The cost for setting up book on Amazon is completely free. Ingram Spark is another very popular or very known one. The benefit or the strength for Ingram Spark is they've got access to a lot of big bookstores and libraries worldwide. They do charge a small setup fee for it. And then if you're aiming to market your book or sell your book in India, Amazon's KDP right now do not sell books in India, self-published book. You can go for, there are a couple of platforms, but then you can look into platforms like Notion Press, which have a very strong presence in the Indian market, and they also offer some additional local marketing packages as well. So if you're aiming to only publish and sell the book in India, again, the cost is free. But if you're looking towards marketing, then there are certain paid features there as well. Now, one very important thing about books are ISBN, which is International Standard Book Number. So if you're a really established author or if you've got multiple books, then you definitely would be thinking about ISBN, which also helps you prepare, which also, okay, is it my screen or do you see something?
Yeah, let me clear I removed the
Okay, that's
person.
fine.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's fine. I'm just wanting to make sure that it's not my screen. But yeah, so if you're really established author and if you want to look professional, also want to have all the copyrights and everything else for your book, then yes, ISBN is really good. Otherwise, if you're publishing one art book, then probably you may not bother so much about the ISBN. Most of these platforms do provide you the free ISBN, but if you have got your own ISBN, you can bring to these platforms. But in Gram Spark, you definitely need to bring your own ISBN or apply for your own ISBN. So as an example, getting an ISBN in Australia would cost you somewhere around 44 Australian dollar. There's an organization called Thor Bocker who is responsible for providing you with the ISBN number. In India, you can go onto the website, which is isbn.gov.in, but you would require a local PAN number or probably a local address proof for that. The cost is free in there. So that's about the popular POD platforms. Now, let's look into the exact steps that you need to publish a book. So it starts with your first manuscript. So finish writing your manuscript. It doesn't need to be perfect at the beginning, or you can do the editing later on as well. Second, you need to format it. You can use tools like Word or other tools as well. There are certain requirements around specific margin sizes for the printing books. I'm going to talk about it a little later. Third step is designing a compelling cover because a cover tells the story of the book. This is your biggest marketing pitch. Now, ideally, you would in the past you would have to employ get service from an illustrator, but now you can also use online tools like Canva, or you can also hire some freelancer to do a job for you. Step four is creating a self-publishing account on one of the POD platforms that we just talked about. Generally, creating a account is free. Step five, after you've done all of this, just upload your files. That would include your cover and your interior or your manuscript. Number six, then you can yourself decide on the pricing and then choose your royalty options. And lastly, just publish the book. Voila, you're a published author. It's that straightforward.
How do you set the pricing? Or you
Yeah,
cover
sure.
each of them? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'll show you that as well. So, but before that, there are certain tips for formatting and cover. So most of these platforms allow you to have a lots and lots of sizes, but then generally it's recommended to use certain standard sizes which you find along. So 6 by 9 inches or 5.5 into 8.5. These are some of the standard features. You have to have the correct spine, width, and bleed. If these terminologies doesn't make sense to you, I'm going to explain to you shortly. These are generally the margins that you have on your cover page and the manuscripts. There could be some common issues like, for example, blurry cover or wrong margins, which you have to take care of. And then you can always use tools which we have talked about, like Canva templates, or also you can use tool from KDP as well, where you can also check what should be the pricing and then what should be the margins, etc. So if these terms don't make a lot of sense to you, so this is just an example of what I'm talking about. So what you can see on the screen, in all areas under the red border is your printing area. Beyond that, the next border is your white border, which is called margin. So the margin cannot have anything printed on it. And the last part, which you see after the white one, is called the bleed. So normally what happens is when these individual copies are printed, sometimes there may be a slight variation on how the page is set on the printing machine or how it is cut. So that's where most of these companies allow you or require you to have a certain extra space towards the end, which is called bleed. So you just need to make sure that you're complying with some of these standards. In between the cover of the book, this is the white area or the area which rests on the bookshelf. It's called spine. If your book is thick enough, then you can also print something on the spine. If it is not too thick, then it has to be a white one, like in this example. So these are some things that you just need to be aware of, not very difficult, but can easily be managed if you have got the right information. Some of the common mistakes that you should always avoid is please make sure that you are previewing your manuscript and cover before you are publishing it. Proofreading is really, really important because you don't
Sorry,
want your
what is preview means?
preview means once you have written something, and I'm going to show you as well, most of these platform, once you upload your file, then it shows you how it looks like. So just have a look into it before you actually start to publish your book. Proofreading again is very, very important. So ideally suggestion is get it reviewed with somebody you know who's got a good command on the language. You can also use these days tools, online tools like Grammarly, which can check whether the grammar for the book is correct or not, or manuscript is correct or not. Try and ensure that the image is as high resolution as possible, because what you see on the phone can be a low resolution, but once it's printed, it needs to be as good as possible. And then just watch out for some of your formatting errors, including your header, footers, etc. Because then if you have worked on some of these things, it's really easy to get the approval from these platforms, and these approvals are automated approvals to ensure that your book is ready for publishing.
Do you have to generate two versions, one for digital platform, one for printing, or one is enough?
One is enough. The same book can be made available both for your ebook as well as printing.
But do they provide allow the option to upload two,
Yes.
so that for faster download, if
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
digital
you
versus
can.
printing, it can be very big file.
Yes, yes. Because with the printing, with the ebook, generally it's just the text that's there. But when you are printing a book, then you might have additional images as well. So which is where you need to be a lot more cautious. But then if it's an ebook, then it just flows on based on anybody's device and what is the font size that they have. So I'll look into an example of some of the royalties that these companies provide you. So with KDP, you get a royalty of approximately 60% minus printing costs. So Amazon would, based on the number of pages and your uh, color options and the page options, they will determine a certain printing cost. After that, whatever costs remains, you get 60%, Amazon takes 40%. Similarly, it's the same for Notion Press, which is approximately 70%. Ingram Spark, you get probably 45% or so, because they require you to offer a lot of wholesale discount, which can go up to almost 50 to 60% as well to most of these libraries and bookstores, but you still make some money. As an example, a book which is priced as around 15 USD, if it has approximately 76 color pages, you will earn a royalty of around 3. Rest will go into the printing cost as well as Amazon's own royalty part. Very important to market your book.
Sorry, can you go back? Previous one. Do you have to set a fixed price of 15 US dollar, for example, for 76 book, or you can have separate pricing for digital version versus printed version?
Digital and printed have separate pricing.
Yep. Okay. You
Right.
just shared that calculation for printed
Printed
copy.
one, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
This is just an example, and I'll show you some of the examples where you can change yourself as well and determine what should be the price. So really important is to market your book. So it's important your book is seen everywhere. You can start with social media. You can launch and share some of your infographics or content from the book on Facebook, on other Instagram, other social media platform. You can also use Amazon or Facebook ads as well. They require you to pay a small fees, but it's really helpful because then more people see your book. You should optimize your titles, subtitles, and keywords when you are setting up your advertisement platform, because then you can decide when somebody types a certain keyword, whether your book is available or up the listing or not. So for example, our book, which is Hanuman Chalisa for kids, I've got an ad running where, so whenever you search for Hanuman Chalisa, Amazon shows this book as a sponsored item as well. You can also create an author page. So this is really important if you're publishing multiple books, because then it creates a profile for you. People can go onto these pages to see what other books that you have written. Something that really helps is reviews. So once your book is out there, request a couple of friends to write reviews for you, because it's the same thing. When you go and buy something, you also look into whether somebody has reviewed it or not. It just gives you that extra layer of authenticity. and then broadcast and promote. So talk to your friends, share with your friends, family, maybe, promote your book, apply discounts, show them the discount codes. But that's where will help you to market your book. Some of the resources that we have talked about, just a recap of those, which will be really helpful, is Amazon's KDP or Kindle Direct Publishing Platform, Ingram, Spark, or Notion Press. You should be able to use Canva if you're trying to create any digital images, Grammarly for any formatting, Word, PowerPoint, PDF, and you're writing your manuscripts. So let's see some of these things that we have talked about in action very quickly. So in our case, I used only PowerPoint in here. So as you can see, I did not use any fancy tools. I prepared my manuscript simply on PowerPoint, but I had to take care of some of the things that we had talked about. So as you can see, I use some of the guides to ensure that there is no text after the margin area. And whatever you could write it on a page is fine. I had to at the end just publish it or save it as a PDF before uploading it on the platform. It's really easy. And if you have most of the text, then you can simply use Word and then save it as a PDF. Let me show you some more examples in there.
Sorry, quick question there. Do you need to leave these margins or these for digital version as well? Bleed area and all, or it's a
Digital
natural?
version, you would not have to bother so much, Surya, because it's mostly text that you would have and they would automatically adjust. But when it is a printing one, then you have to make sure that these things are fine, because on the digital version, you can simply, most of the Word PDF would simply have margins on the left, right, top, bottom, like we have on the documents.
Yeah.
It's more important when you're printing, and especially if you've got color and images onto your manuscripts. Okay, let me. Yeah. So this is what I was talking about when I said print preview. Before that, maybe, this is Amazon's KDP platform. It's really simple. So as an example, if I just go in here and then click on edit paperback details. So this has got mainly 3 sections in here. You just have to provide some basic details. So for example, what is the name of your book, your subtitle, who are the authors, contributors, provide a description about your book, some additional information, categories, etc., any keywords that you would want. Next comes your paperback content, which is where you specify your what is the type of the paper, what is the size of the book that you want. And then in here, you can upload your covers, and then you can also, towards the end, you can launch previewer. So the one that I was talking about earlier. So in this case, so this will really help you see if everything seems to be fine or not, everything is within the certain area. And so as an example, right, just to make sure that, all of these are within the particular boundary and if everything is flowing in correct. So as you can see in this case, for example, the last line is almost towards the end. We cannot have any extra line in there.
Even the top Shri is
Yes.
touching the line. So is that
Yes.
a risk, is it? You could have
No,
left.
no. So anything which is in the line is fine, because after that there is a margin and then there is a bleed. So
Yep.
they
Okay.
require you to have everything within this boundary.
And these lines are only visible in the preview
in
mode.
the preview mode. So you can easily see how whatever you have formatted is coming up correct or not. So once you have done that, then the next page is about pricing. And in here, you can specify for each of the market, as an example in Amazon, how much price do you want to put in? So for example, if this book with whatever number of pages, if it is, so then it needs to have a minimum price. So 10.47 USD is the minimum. So if I have set the price as 20, I get a royalty of 5.7. Amazon keeps the rest, and the printing cost is 6.28 and so on. So it's really easy to change whatever you want in there. These are just the 3 simple steps in there. Once you have published, you should be able to track everything as well. As an example, our Hanuman Chalisa for kids, we we had this book published for almost 5 years now. So we've sold close to 1,600 copies on Amazon. That's almost at an average rate of one per day. Should be able to easily track and see where the book is being sold, which markets, and so on. And you can choose anything, any time period as well. So this month we've sold 11 books so far. Really easy. You can also use Amazon's platform for advertisement as well, like I was saying. With the advertisement, you can specify a certain daily budget. So whatever you're spending would not go beyond that. Amazon provides you a couple of additional matrix to see how your spend is being tracked and whether you're getting any returns out of it or not. I won't go into too much details, but what is really important is the keywords that you choose for your advertisement. So in this case, so I've specified that Hanuman Chalisa is a keyword, and then I have bid for a certain amount of it as well. The more you bid, the higher your listing would be there on the listing in there.
How do you decide that number?
So they do recommend some numbering in here, and the suggested, as you can see, the suggested bid is in here. So from 28 cents to 46 cents. So I've just put something in between in there.
Yep, thoughtful. Thank you.
So a question on the chat was about copyright issues. Yes, if you're taking any, if you are using any copyright content, then yes, you are responsible for it. But if it's an original content, then it's fine. So that's the reason it's always good to use content from the authorized platforms. Like if you're, for example, if you're using an image, make sure that you've read through the copyright content and ensure that you give them enough credit. Should be fine. So this is an example. So you can go today as well, where you can go to the Amazon KDP calculator, cost calculator. You can choose what is the kind of book that you have, whether it's a paperback, hardcover. There's probably another one for ebook as well. You can choose what kind of paper that you have selected, everything, page content and so on. And once you set up a price, it shows you what is the estimated royalty that you can get. So for example, as I was explaining, a $15 book for 76 pages would earn you a royalty of $3, 3 USD. Similarly, if it's a $25 book in Australia, you would get a royalty of around $6. Really easy. I mean, and all the other platforms also provide you with the similar ones as well.
What are the tax implications selling in other markets
You
outside Australia?
So they will withhold the taxes, and if you have, you can talk to your accountant, and then depending on what kind of business you have, you should be able to get either refund back or you have to pay. They will withhold that taxes for you.
So as an author, you can retain the author title to yourself, but you can still register it as a company or something? Or
You
that's
can.
accountant question?
It's more of an accountant question, but then normally you don't need to have a company, but you can always have a company as well if you want. In Australia, you can always register with the ABN and then show your revenues or royalties
So
on
you
that.
need a minimum ABN, is it? You can't
No,
do
you
it as a
don't need
person
a ABN. If
as
you
well. Okay.
choose, then you can have an ABN.
Okay.
I guess that should cover a lot of content with regards to this one. Any other questions if anyone has? Happy to take any questions.
Any questions from the audience?
Hopefully that was good enough for you
Very,
to
very comprehensive. Thank you, Rahul. I asked lots of questions on the way.
Mhm.
But any question from the audience, please?
Thank you, Hemanji.
I think it was very inspiring, and these are the subtle gap of knowledge we generally have, which blocks us. Now, with this session takeaway, this week we may start thinking, oh, what should I publish? Even if small thing for one, can we sell things for as low as $1 in
No,
digital?
so because these are print on demand, once you go onto these platforms, they will recommend you a minimum price as well. And beyond that minimum price, you can choose whatever price you want.
But can we not choose digital only
You
option?
can choose digital only. I have myself not checked into the minimum pricing for digital, But yes, you can definitely choose digital only as well. And digital is definitely less pricier than the printed one.
And how many, like, if you don't mind sharing, after somewhere 1600 books, how many hard copies have been sold?
So we have only a hard copy
Oh,
for
you only have hard copies, not
yes,
the digital
yes,
copies at all.
because this
Okay.
is it's more of a graphical one. So that's the reason we did not wanted to have it on. I mean, there were two reasons behind it. One, because it's a graphical one, it won't show up very good on small devices because people have different sizes of device. At the same time, it's more of a devotion book for us. So we want kids to actually hold it in their hand and read it with devotion rather than, light on somewhere and then just browse it on the phone.
No, sounds really good. Any questions from the audience? I'm sure many of you have some small or big knowledge you may want to publish. So don't let your 1 hour go in vain. Take a challenge from this webinar and think of a smallest or biggest book you can publish. Just materialize your idea next week or for next month. And you can always come back to Rahulji and myself through this webinar. We can bring him back into this webinar and do something different and unique as a takeaway from this webinar. And that's the main objective of this webinar, is that we bring such a inspiring speakers into this platform where we can learn and take some knowledge away. So thank you so much, Rahulji, for taking time out again from your busy schedule, and also Arjun's for so young kid to come on the webinar and share his experience. That's highly commendable. With that note, if I'll ask final question from the audience, and if there's no question, then we can conclude the webinar.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, Surya ji. I think it's a great opportunity for Arjun as well. He has really enjoyed preparing for it. I'm sure it will boost his confidence for anything else. So thanks a lot for that. And in terms of publishing the book, please do share this idea to your friends and community as well. And if anybody has an idea and need any support, please feel free to reach out to myself or Surya ji, and we will definitely provide whatever guidance that we can in support of publishing your book. Let's get something out there.
Very inspiring, and I'm already thinking few ideas to publish. So thank you so much, Rahulji, for inspiring, and all the audience. Thank you for joining, and all the audience who would be watching this recording on the YouTube to leave some comments and feedback for these webinar series, and looking forward to hear more inspiring speakers in coming webinars. Hopefully next Wednesday we would have some expert coming in to speak about superannuation. So stay tuned for further information in the Vichar webinar WhatsApp group. Those who have not joined Vichar webinar WhatsApp group, please ask the person who shared you the flyer to share you the WhatsApp group link as well. With that WhatsApp group, you can get notified instantly about upcoming webinar, and you will only receive critical updates only from me, and no other messages will be posted. So it will be spam free WhatsApp group. So with that note, thank you once again, Rahulji, and thank you all the audience, and good night, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you. Namaskar.
Namaste.